Oh, wow. How did she get that? She enjoyed it. The crowd love it.
Alex Ayala has once again delivered a standout performance, and this time she did so with remarkable flair and authority. Following an intense, grueling, and emotionally taxing showdown against Laura Siegund, a contest that pushed every aspect of her skills to the absolute limit, she returned to the court at the Miami Open and produced what might be the most commanding display of her entire tournament run so far. She faced Magdala Linette, a competitor riding high on confidence after pulling off a significant upset earlier in the event. Yet instead of appearing fatigued or mentally worn out from the previous war, Eala stepped onto the court looking noticeably sharper, physically stronger, and far more focused than she had at any point before. That contrast is precisely what made this triumph so meaningful. It wasn't merely the fact that she secured the victory, it was the manner in which she achieved it. From the very first point to the final shot, she exhibited exceptional control, calm composure, intelligent shot selection, steely nerves, and an unshakable self-belief that never wavered. This was no fortunate escape or lucky break. It wasn't one of those encounters where she simply hung in there and pounced on late opportunities. On the contrary, Ayala entered the match with clear purpose and intention, carrying herself as though she truly belonged on that big stage. She played with conviction and proved yet again that her upward trajectory in the sport is genuine and substantial. To truly appreciate the scale of this achievement, it's important to consider the context. Linette arrived for this matchup brimming with momentum. She had already demonstrated her ability to challenge established stars and was playing with the fearless swagger of someone who genuinely believed she could make a deep run. That sort of recent success can transform any player into a formidable threat, injecting them with extra energy and boldness. But none of that seemed to faze Eala in the slightest. She refused to get caught up in the opponent's reputation, the surrounding narrative, or the weight of the occasion. Instead, she simply executed her own game plan with remarkable clarity and assurance. When Alex Ayala performs with that level of mental sharpness and self-assurance, she transforms into an incredibly tough opponent to break down. Right from the opening games, her intent was unmistakable. She read the court effectively, engaged in rallies on her own terms, and consistently seized the initiative rather than allowing Linette to set the tone. There was a visible gap in overall energy and purpose. Linette certainly produced some strong moments and quality strokes, fighting hard to remain competitive, but throughout most of the first set, Ayala maintained clear superiority. She appeared more decisive during crucial exchanges, more at ease when pressure mounted, and far more willing to step inside the court and dictate play. That opening set revealed a player who had absorbed valuable lessons from her previous marathon against Siegund. In that earlier battle, Eala was forced to dig incredibly deep on a mental level. She had to maintain composure through endless long games, repeated deuces, shifting momentum, and various distractions. It was a test of patience, emotional regulation, and mental endurance just as much as it was about technical tennis skill. Such demanding experiences can either leave a player depleted or forge them into something tougher. In Ayala's case, the ordeal clearly strengthened her resolve. You could observe that growth in how she approached the Linette match. There was a newfound maturity in her decision-making, a sense of deliberate purpose in her footwork and positioning, and a complete absence of panic, haste, or unnecessary emotional expenditure. She looked like someone who had already weathered a major storm and emerged more resilient because of it. When she claimed the first set 6-3, the score felt entirely justified. It accurately mirrored the dominance she had displayed on court. Ayala had controlled more of the important points, stayed composed whenever Linette attempted to create chances, and most significantly, she delivered a powerful message. She wasn't merely showing up to participate, she was there to claim victory. The second set elevated the performance to an even higher level of impressiveness. Ayala began with the same intensity, maintaining relentless pressure and denying Linette any chance to find her rhythm or settle into the contest. For a stretch, it appeared she might pull away decisively. She built her lead by blending aggression with smart control, and even when the rallies grew more intense and competitive, she continued to discover effective solutions. Her serving was confident and reliable, her ground strokes crisp and purposeful, and her point construction showed real strategic depth. To her credit, Linette refused to surrender easily. She kept battling, applied pressure wherever possible, and managed to fight her way back into contention. That is precisely the kind of situation where many young players can lose their composure. After working so hard to establish a comfortable advantage and sensing the finish line approaching, an opponent's sudden surge can trigger doubt, frustration, and a dangerous shift in momentum. Yet once again, Ayala demonstrated impressive personal development. Rather than allowing Linette's resurgence to rattle her, she remained fully engaged in the battle. She avoided mental collapse, resisted the urge to play desperate low-percentage shots, and continued to trust her established patterns and instincts. When the second set headed into a tiebreak, it became the ultimate examination of both players' mental fortitude. Eala passed that examination with flying colors. In the decisive breaker, she appeared noticeably calmer and more composed. She executed with clear purpose, managed the pressure more effectively, and made the bolder, smarter choices at the critical junctures. When the moment demanded it, she rose to a higher level. Securing the tiebreak 7-3 was not simply about claiming the set. It was a powerful demonstration of nerve, maturity, and the ability to regain control after briefly allowing an opponent back into the match. That kind of finish speaks volumes for any player on the rise, because while raw talent can win individual points, it is mental strength that secures matches of this nature. If there is one overarching theme emerging from Eala's Miami Open campaign, it is her rapidly improving mental toughness with each passing round. The grueling encounter with Sigund was the type of exhausting battle that forces a competitor to face discomfort, irritation, and physical tiredness all at once. She navigated through it successfully, then immediately channeled that hard-earned experience into a straight-sets victory over another dangerous rival. That sequence is the hallmark of a player who is absorbing lessons quickly, whose confidence is becoming more robust and less easily shaken, and who is beginning to grasp what sustained success at the highest level truly demands. Another standout element in this performance was the quality of her serve. For quite some time, discussions about Eala's game tended to highlight her potential, her excellent movement, her strong baseline game, and the impressive variety in her shot selection. But in this particular match, her serve emerged as a genuine weapon she could depend upon consistently. That development is hugely significant. When a player's serve provides easy points, allows them to begin rallies on their preferred terms, and offers a safety net during tense situations, their entire game gains an extra layer of threat and reliability. For Eala, that newfound confidence on serve appeared to stem from dedicated practice and refinement. It looked polished, improved, and no longer like the potential weakness it might have been in earlier stages of her career. This is why the victory feels far more substantial than a single good result. It did not come across as a player simply catching fire for one session. Instead, it looked like someone systematically assembling the different components of a complete game. The physical foundation is already solid. The shot-making ability is evident. Resilience is clearly increasing. Confidence is steadily building. And even the areas that once seemed vulnerable are now appearing much more dependable. Breakthroughs in tennis rarely happen in one sudden, magical instant. They develop gradually through match after match and challenge after challenge, until one day it becomes obvious to everyone that a new force has truly arrived on the scene. As she prepares for her next test, the buzz surrounding Eala is only going to intensify. After enduring a 3-hour mental and physical war against an experienced opponent and then returning to dismantle another confident, informed player in straight sets, observers are beginning to take notice in a serious way. They are seeing more than just raw potential. They are witnessing real substance, a genuine competitor who is no longer satisfied with merely participating but is determined to climb even higher. What makes Eala particularly captivating to watch at this stage is her ability to win in multiple different styles. Against Sigund, she had to endure a long war of patience, disruption, and sheer endurance. Against Linette, she displayed a more dominant, commanding version of her game. That kind of versatility is crucial. It shows she is adapting effectively, learning how to adjust to varying opponent styles, changing rhythms, and different forms of pressure. At the elite level, such adaptability can carry a player a very long way. There is also an infectious quality to this current run, the deep, consistent belief that Eala now carries with her. It is no longer just occasional flashes of confidence after a spectacular shot. It is a steady presence that runs through entire matches. You can observe it in her body language, in how she reacts to difficult moments, and in the way she seals out important points. Once that inner belief fully aligns with a player's natural talent, their game can elevate to an entirely new plane. That is exactly why her progress at this Miami Open feels so significant. Eala has done it again. Coming off the brutal battle with Sigund, she returned and overcame Linette with a performance rich in confidence, discipline, and inner toughness. She dictated the first set with authority, navigated the tension of the second set without faltering, dominated the tiebreak, and once more reminded everyone that her rise shows no signs of slowing. If anything, she continues to grow stronger with each outing. And if this is the version of Eala we are witnessing now, calm when the pressure is highest, sharper and more reliable on serve, mentally tougher than before, and radiating confidence in the biggest moments, then the rest of the competition had better take notice. She's no longer simply enjoying a solid tournament. She's making a bold statement, and right now she looks like a player who is only just getting started on something much bigger.